Well, hi everybody, the day is here. ZilSwap has their very first ILO, or Initial Launch Offering. Hi everybody, I'm Chase Raz. This is the Zilliqa Observer, and you can now get the Stream token for ZilStream, for ZilStream Premium, today only, which admittedly, my today is probably not the day you're actually watching this video, but I'll get to that in just a moment. But for today only, you can get the Stream token. So if I know that you're probably watching this at a different time, why am I recording it? Well, a couple of reasons. One, I really want to document ZilSwap's first ILO offering in the form of this ZilStream Premium token. If you don't know about ZilStream, here it is. It's a wonderful site created by Melvin Beamer that gives all sorts of information about ZilSwap, ZRC2 token prices, Zilliqa token price, and so on. But back over here with our regularly scheduled programming, we want to look on ZilSwap right over here on the menu at this Zilo launchpad. This is what we're here for today. Now, you can see that I'm already a little bit late to the party, and that's okay. Looks like just under 6 hours to go at the time of recording here for me, and by the time you see this video, at least another hour or two will have elapsed. So again, I understand that you're probably not watching this particular video. It is possible, but I digress. So remember, there's two things I want to do here. One is to document and archive this very first launch on ZilSwap, but I also want to help those of you who are going to be getting additional tokens after this first launch. Stream, even though it's the first token to be launched right here on ZilSwap, certainly won't be the last. So I hope until such time that I can make a proper tutorial, if you will, that this video can serve as a proper tutorial, at least as much as it can, for going about using Zilo to get new tokens. So here's the process. Here's what we're working with, right? You're going to see a countdown, and typically I imagine that most tokens are going to be available for a period of about 24 hours or so. That could change. But then we're given some metrics. Once this token is live, we're given some nice metrics in this area. And in fact, what I want to do is zoom in as much as I can right here so we can take a detailed look at this information. As I mentioned, I'm fairly late in the game. We're almost 20 hours into this sale, and so we see a total committed amount. There have been the equivalent between Zil and Zwap, and we'll talk about that in a moment, of really almost 2.3 million US dollars committed to this. That is an interesting statistic, but it doesn't necessarily tell us too much unless we know more information about how this platform works. What we do know is that that amount is 732% of what was originally set as the target, 342,000 and some odd change, right? What does this mean? This means that there are a certain amount of tokens that are available, and they have a certain financial value. As an aside, if you want to know about that financial value, you can learn more about the token. There's going to be a button on I imagine every single interface for every single launch to be able to see this type of information that I'm showing on screen right now. And when ZilSwap announces a new token becoming available on Zilo, what you're going to want to look at are like the tokenomics sections and the sale details, because what we see right now is for this Stream token, it costs 10 cents. One stream is 10 US cent. However, it's paid for in Zil, right? We don't want to forget that. Let me zoom in here as well so we can look at these details as an aside. A nice little tangent here for us. So one stream is 10 cent at face value. But in order to get the Stream token, or whichever token you're going for when you're watching this video, you have to burn Zwap. So there's this additional fee, if you will, on top. And that typically equates to, I believe it's 42.8%. That's a pretty big fee. But if you think about what happens with IDOs or initial DEX offerings, or IEOs with initial exchange offerings, when you think about the price volatility that happens, typically a price run up and then a crash, the idea is that for utility tokens such as Stream, which Stream really is a true utility token, for utility tokens, this type of process could help alleviate or avoid some of that speculative, price interference, if you will. Again, do with that as you will. This is not financial advice. So, okay, back to the point. For this particular token 10 cents worth of ZIL is the cost, but then we have to burn an additional amount of ZWAP on top. Let's move back over to the interface and take a deeper look there. So as I was mentioning, there's a certain amount of token that's available. When there is enough ZIL committed to reach, to match all of that, to basically claim all of the available token, this total committed will hit 100%. We are currently at 732% at the time of recording. And this has been going relatively fast. You can see this indicator right up here as well, 732. Again, don't let that particular number get in your head. It's just showing what's the percentage committed. Another way to think about this in particular right now, if we use these real numbers, is 7.32 times the available supply are being requested, are being asked for. So what does that mean? When you go to commit tokens in a fixed ratio, right? So, and I'll talk about that fixed ratio in a moment. When you go to commit tokens, you have to commit enough to where you're going to get your share of the commit of the release token. So let's say that there are 100,000 tokens to go around. That's not the exact number in this case, but let's say there are 100,000 tokens and we're 200% committed, so double sold. Essentially, the number of ZIL that you pledge, only half of that would be eligible to actually yield the token. That's going to leave some leftover ZIL, that's going to leave some leftover ZWAP, and we'll talk about what happens with that in a moment. I am going to jump the gun here a little bit and show you something that I did. Real world scenario here, I decided, for a number of reasons I'm not going to get into, for this particular launch, to put in 1.7 thousand, so 1,700 ZIL. The ZIL side of this equation, you see, we have to put in ZIL and ZWAP, and I mentioned the ZWAP is being burned. Only the ZIL side of this equation is being used to generate this token, to make the token available to you. So for instance, right now, if I say I've committed 1,700 ZIL, which I have, and we are currently 732% of commitment, then I can essentially divide 1,700 by 7.32 and expect that if this offering were to end right now, I'd receive approximately 332 and change stream tokens. So only the ZIL are going into yielding, returning the token you're trying to get. The ZWAP really is a burn fee on top of it. Please view it that way. This can be confusing because the way it's stated, and I don't blame ZilSwap for this at all. It is clear, but it's also confusing is the best way to put this, that the total amount put in is a 70-30 split. The reason that becomes confusing is only the 70%, right? Only the larger part of that is what's yielding the token. So I do think we could probably see some benefits by simply calling the ZWAP component a fee or a burn fee or something like that, rather than trying to view it in the 70-30 split. I think that's really good that they use that for internal calculations to make sure the tokenomics work. But I think from a regular user point of view, a mainstreaming point of view, let's just say, here's how many ZIL you're going to put in, and here's how much ZWAP you're going to have to commit to burn as a result of that. Just my 2 cents there of how to make it a little bit easier. But these numbers are accurate, they are valid, and the way ZilSwap has communicated them, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of confusing for the average person. So when I put in 1.7 thousand, that's weird to say, 1,700 ZIL, remember, I'm technically paying US dollars for stream, 10 cent, US dollars for stream, but I'm paying in ZIL, so conversion rates are happening here. But there's a calculation on this 70-30 split that goes in to identify how much ZWAP you have to burn. For me to put 1,700 ZIL in, that was approximately 0.3 ZWAP. Am I going to lose all of this ZWAP? No. Am I going to exchange all of the ZIL for stream? No. Let's go back to the idea of being oversold or overcommitted. As I mentioned before, that if I put these 1,700 ZIL in, I should expect, if this thing closed right now, to get about 232 tokens. That means that only my share of the commitment, right? Divide up how much I put in divided by the total commitment. That's the same percentage I'm going to get of stream tokens relative to the total available through this offering. So what's going to happen to the excess ZIL that are not able to be converted to stream because I'm way over committing? That may be a weird way to think about it, but because everybody in aggregate is way overcommitting, what's going to happen to my excess ZIL? It's going to be returned to me. What's going to happen to my excess swap? It's going to be returned to me. So when you make this commitment, well, first of all, let me just say this. Here's the process for those of you wondering that. Let's say you want to put 2,000 ZIL in. Just type that in and you'll be told how much swap you're going to need to have in your wallet in addition to the ZIL in order to commit. Now, in fairness, I should say that before you even commit, you do have to unlock this particular contract. So the first time you see this page, you will see an unlock button here instead of commit. Just go ahead and go through that process. It's somewhere just shy of about 1 ZIL to pay for that transaction to interact with the smart contract and open up this as a possibility to open this up. I'm assuming that nobody watching this particular video is day one in cryptocurrency. So you're simply unlocking the smart contract, and that's about a 1 ZIL price as of the time of recording. So once you've done that and you've unlocked the contract, you could now go ahead and commit, but you would have to make sure that you have these 2,000 ZIL and the 0.36 swap in your wallet. They are going to be taken from your wallet. They are going to be removed. You are committing these tokens. You're interacting with a smart contract. That smart contract is going to take those tokens. But remember, only a portion of this ZIL that we are committing, no matter whatever the amount is, because we're oversold, only a portion of it is going to be actually redeemed for the token at the end of the day, at the end of the offering, rather. The rest of that ZIL will be returned to your wallet at that time, right? Whenever the token is being issued. The same thing is going to happen with ZWAP here. You're not going to burn the entire amount of ZWAP that you're committing to burn because, again, only a portion of your ZIL are going to be eligible for conversion because of the overcommitment cumulatively. So these tokens do get removed out of your wallet. As a brief recap, the excess tokens that don't get converted will be returned to you at the same time, I believe at the same time as the yielded token is being issued. So in this case, stream at the time of recording. And I do understand, just to put a final conclusion on this, I do understand that that can be highly complex. You're dealing with this 70-30 split and only the 70% are yielding the token. And then you have to calculate how much your burn ratio is. I would say make this as simple as possible on yourself. Go in and try to identify how much ZIL you're willing to commit to something. Yes, you could calculate in different ways. How much US dollar you want to spend, how many ultimate tokens you want. But the reality is, unless you are one of the very last people to jump in to this offering, you're not sure exactly where this commitment percentage is going to fall. So we are having to approximate. We're having to ballpark this a little bit. That can be tough for a utility token like Stream, where you need a certain amount in order to be functional. And what you don't get through this process, you're going to have to buy on the open market over on ZilStream on the actual DEX, on ZilSwap on the actual DEX. It's so hard to go back and forth between saying ZilStream and ZilSwap and ZilGraph and Zil everything. It's Zil overload. I hope this video has helped. I hope that you're able to get in and unlock the contract, commit some ZIL, see how much swap you're going to have, and then commit to getting these new tokens. Just remember, you actually do have to have these in your wallet. They will be removed. The excess plus the actual token you've received will be returned to you. But the nice thing is the ZIL is being converted for the other token, whereas the ZWAP is actually being burned. This is creating some more utility for ZWAP, which is something I've wanted to see, and I think a lot of us have wanted to see for a very long time. So congratulations to ZilSwap on the very first offering on their ILO called Zilo, and congratulations to ZilStream. Hi, Melvin. We want to say congratulations to you for being the first token offered in this way. This is a really great way to offer a utility token on the Zilliqa blockchain. All right, everybody, I'm Chase Raz. This is the Zilliqa Observer. You're watching about ZilSwap, Zilo, and ZilStream. Until next time, take care.